Welcome everyone to episode 71 of Video Game Book Club. I'm Tubby Mora, and today I'm joined by my awesome friend and fighting game prodigy, Nakuso. Say hello, dude.
What's up?
This time around, we're going to be talking about Knights and Bikes, which was developed by Foam Sword, published by Double Fine Productions, and was originally released on August 27th, 2019 for PC and PlayStation 4. On the Knights and Bikes official website, it reads, quote, Knights and Bikes is a hand-painted action-adventure for 1 or 2 players set on a British island in the 1980s. It's a coming-of-age story starring Nessa and Demelza exploring the coasts of Penferzy on their trusty bikes, looking for a legendary lost treasure in a Goonies-inspired tale of excitement, danger, fun, and friendship. But that's how the website describes the game. How would we describe the game? And the order presenting will be Nakuso and then Tubby Mora. And please be advised, there may be spoilers ahead. With that said, let's get started. Question 1. Describe the game in 1 sentence. Take it away, Nakuso.
So for me, I have it as 2 friends that go on an adventure of imagination, drama, insanity while riding your bikes.
Ooh, I like it.
What about you?
Pretty similar to yours, actually. Mine is 2 best friends, 1 pet goose, a whole lot of bikes, and a whole bunch of knights, all in a jam-packed epic adventure quest to save the Penferry Islands from the dreaded curse. So pretty much the same thing, just a little bit more.
For a second, they're going to keep rhyming for the whole intro.
I was thinking about it, do like some Dr. Seuss kind of green eggs and ham Sam I am, but I'm like, I know we're gonna eventually play a game that will warrant that. And I think I know what game in the future I may try to nominate to make that, but I'm gonna save that little trick in my back pocket here. Let's go to question 2. What platform did you play the game on? What difficulty did you play on? And how many hours did it take you to finish the game, Nakuso?
So I played the game with Tubby Mora, and we played with a default game difficulty, which didn't have any other difficulty sliders. And it took us roughly, on my Steam, I have it as 11 and a half hours to finish the game.
Okay.
What about you?
So
what about you?
I too played the game on Steam with my good friend Nakuso, cooperative bike style. And it took us about 12 hours to beat the game. So I would hope that we have the same time. And with only one of those hours, by the way, of us just game padding by playing the game computer at the Mel's house. So really, it only took like 11 hours. I think at least 1 hour was dedicated to us just like drawing things in the sand that I can't say on Twitch and just messing around. So yeah, 11 to 12 hours is a pretty good time frame. Let's move on to question 3. Describe your playstyle towards the game. How did you bike, Nakuso? What was your strat here?
For me, well, I just did mostly the main missions we did, along with the ability to kind of mess around with our ability combinations, seeing secrets, getting loot, and upgrading our bikes. Specifically for me, I went with, I think, a black and yellow, black and yellow, and also a space theme. And then sometimes I mess around with some flames on my bike because everyone knows that flames make you go faster.
Badass.
Oh, and for my bell, I had to have the police siren, and also I forgot what the other one was. It started with a K. It's a really weird sound, but I liked it.
With a K?
I like messing around. Yeah, it's like
the music one?
It's like Kragon or something like that. I forgot what it was called.
Okay.
I use that as my secondary bell. And pretty much, we hung out together, played the fighting game. We learned some strats. We also learned by just messing around that you can kick your boombox around. We can kind of combine some abilities, and it was just fun. Just doing random stuff, really weird stuff that you wouldn't think that would work. Having enemies dance in Tubby's boombox as well. Probably the best feature, the best skill in the game, by the way.
Honestly, can't agree more.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it for me. How about you?
So me, I rode my bike using a Pulse Red Xbox Series X controller. I played as Nessa. And I went for a frisbee throwing, water balloon chucking, boombox build because that's all the abilities I had. And then Nessa kept reminding me that Nakuso, aka Demelza, was such a kid, and we had to be the responsible one. So I always made sure to always grab Nakuso's bike every opportunity I got. It's actually part of the gameplay strat. And we did, we did the main story, of course, but we also did some side objectives whenever we could get the chance, as we tried to find as much scrap, trash, crap, anything that we could like just throw at Oba so we could pimp out our bikes. Because, you have to ride in style if you're going on a grand epic quest, epic adventure. So that was kind of our play style.
Oh, here's one more thing we did. The most important thing for the majority of that playthrough, he also voice acted.
Oh, yeah. Like that is unnecessary. If you're going to play this with a friend, like just the dialogue, it's just so funny just reading it out loud.
You have to, because it's like if you just read it silently for someone else, it just seems weird.
Oh, yeah. Me was asking, is this game a dating sim? In a way, you can set it up to make it sound like a dating sim. It really like teaches you about each other in ways you've never seen before. Amen. Similar to, I don't know. I would say if you want like the whole dating sim aspect, like if you want to have a game that really tests your relationship with someone, I'd probably say It Takes Two is better in that regard. But that's a different video game book club episode. Feel free to check that one out if you'd like. It's funny because Noxo and I played that one too, and that was a great game. But before we get off topic here, we're going to go on to question 4. What are 3 things you like about the game and why? And we will alternate for this one. What's your first thing, Noxo, that you liked?
First thing that I liked is the amount of animations in the characters. I think it's like super awesome for Demelza and Nessa. Like just seeing them scared, seeing Nessa's eyes go to sideways as I'm going crazy playing Demelza. It was one of the best times because there was like so many just expressions depending on the situation. It was just always fun to see. I'm pretty sure you also agree that the animations, the little details, the boom boxes with the enemies, them dancing with shades on.
Oh my God.
They didn't have to go that much into getting each enemy just having an animation when they're dancing. But, it's just that extra love, the little extra effort put into that. It's like super awesome.
Dude, I kid you not, that was like the second thing I wrote, what you just said.
I mean, it stands out.
It does. It really does.
A lot of the games that we play, right? I mean, they have, usually in co-op, they have some pretty good animations, but just the way the art style is, with kind of like a paper mache 2D. I thought the game would just have standard stuff, but like when you're running, certain times when you're running, like depending on the mood of the story, if you're sad, it's much different. It's like for a second I thought, like, is that a bug? Why am I like not smiling?
Look depressed.
No, it's actually like that on purpose. There's just a lot of different faces, a lot of memes that you actually have in the game, and this just goes for not even us, but enemies that we face, other characters in town. It's great. I just love the work that they put into the game. Also the background, the different things that you see. It's just really impressive for what they had. And I believe this was also a Kickstarter game, so they definitely put a lot of time into it. And I really respect that because that takes a lot of extra work that you don't really have to do. But overall, like, it just added up to be one of the things I remember the most.
No, I'm with you. I'm actually going to add on top of that.
Okay, go on.
I'll use my one thing to also just like add on to yours too. Pretty much exactly what Noxo said. Like he's nailed it to the T on here. But the other thing that I also want to just state is the amount of joy and wonder just playing this game, playing as like these 2 kids going off on an adventure and just using their imagination. Like it actually felt, I don't know why, but it just reminded me of like childhood too. Like doing all this stupid stuff, like making noises as you're running. Like that is I've never seen that before, like in a game. And I'm so glad that they added it here. Doing high fives and just like screaming at each other. and then you just keep making noises until your friend actually gives you a high five. It's like really small, dumb things, but it's like that's also what made childhood so much fun. Just like messing with your friend, and the fact that you can do it in this game, and it gives you so many opportunities to do it. It's just it was great. I freaking love just how well this game portrayed like childhood, and it's just it did an amazing job. So yeah, that's one of the things I liked. What about you, Nox? So what's your second thing?
My second thing, I'm actually going to add on with the story.
All right, we're going on a triple streak.
I mean, this story, it really brought that childhood feeling, like you said, just going on an adventure. Everything's made up in your head and just turning into something more serious as it progresses. I think was a really good twist. I'm not sure about you, but for me, I really like when a game has these extra layers and it doesn't always explain everything, but something more sinister is like going on in the background. And this was like told by illustrations or background dialogue or like even environmental things. You can just tell like something is like really off on the island. It's like, so everything is like so dead because everyone's gone. Yep. And then it like explains kind of like what happened throughout the story and why it's like that. And it's just like little things that just happens once in a while. Like you might just see a specific entity until you'll never see it again. I'm like, what the heck was that? Or you'll see something move in the wind. And it's like, sometimes you think, am I going crazy? And you know what? Yeah, sometimes you are, but it's okay. And that's all right.
That uncanny feeling, right? Just like,
Yeah, it's just like something just feels off, and it makes sense as you're playing through the game. And I really respect the game for doing that, especially going into kind of like deeper psychological content as you're playing through the game, a little bit of trauma. So it's like very cool, very creative, very open-ended. And as the game kind of totes throughout the whole entire game, imagination kind of makes you think a lot.
Oh, geez. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to add on to yours. Second thing. It's interesting because like, it sounds like we're just repeating the same thing, but we're like, these are such important elements of this game because at the end of the day, there's not a whole lot of gameplay. I mean, there is some gameplay there, but really the strength of this game is the dynamic between Nessa and Demelza. And yeah, the humorous writing and the dynamic between them is just hilarious. Like Demelza, I laughed so many times because I freaking swear, like Noxo's character is like a kid who's just cracked out on sugar and just says whatever comes to her mind. And I can't even tell if she's like being serious or she's just making things up on the spot. I actually thought that Noxo was just going crazy as he was like talking. and then on the flip side of the coin, you have Nessa, who's like trying to be the responsible one in the group, but you can tell that she also wants to join in on whatever shenanigans Demelza's doing. And that back and forth and the dynamic between them is just nice. Like that's a true friend. Like Demelza, I have no idea what's going on in her head. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on in Nakuso's head. But as an awesome friend, it's just like you have to just go along with the ride, go along with that adventure. And I just had a blast just voice acting it with Nakuso. It was so stupid, but I just had a great time and just reading the dialogue. I was genuinely like laughing. Not like in Genshin Impact. Okay, that's just mean. Okay, all right, we're going to the third point, Nakuso. What's your third thing, dude?
The third thing? Well, to wrap it all up,
the
callbacks. A lot of callbacks to the 80s, early 90s. That was really wholesome.
Yeah, the Goonies.
And the Goonies. And like Tubby said, I guess was Stranger Things inspired by the Goonies?
I feel like
I'm like wondering.
There has to be some parallel there. I'd imagine it, honestly.
So like those combinations, the water balloons, the frisbee, kicking dirt in each other's eyes, as Tubby did when we were kids. It's like awesome. And it's just messing around with all of these abilities, a good callback, some nostalgia. And it's just like you're playing as a kid, which makes sense because you are. And just using them as like weapons, I think is a fun idea. it's kind of funny because in VGBC we did play another game recently, Animal Well, which had a similar thing with
Classic.
the abilities in the
Hmm.
game. So it was just like nice going into this one, seeing how unique they can make these and the kind of the synergies between the two characters. Of course, you have the classic console system that we played. Actually, the whole trailer inside this has that whole old school vibe, which was kind of comfortable, a little warming, and just going through town. It's so weird. Like it's like this thinking that era. It's like this is like before cell phones, social
The
media,
internet.
a lot of technology that we have today,
Hmm.
computers, yeah. And it's just like this reminded me, like, wow, times were definitely much simpler
Back
um,
then.
back
Yep.
then.
And
It
I
was just a nice change of pace. Oh, and of course the bikes.
the
I
bikes.
mean, how many kids do you see riding bikes these days? Not as much.
Definitely not as much, at least in our
Yeah,
area.
yeah, same. And it was just a nice callback. How about you,
Yeah.
Toby? What's your third thing that you liked?
I mean, my third thing, I'm just gonna throw in there. I mean, the bike customization, what was a treat. Like, I'm so glad that they added it to the game. It's such a small thing too, but the fact that like they added so much customization on the bikes. You had the chain guards, the face plates, the horns, the flags, the padding, the paint, the wheels. It was just really cool. Like, if you were a kid in this era, like that is like peak childhood right there. Customizing your bike, showing it off to your friends. I'm just glad that they had so many different options too. And I really, one of the cool things I really liked was the horn. Like, it was just interesting, just messing with the different horns and seeing what kind of weird sounds would come out. And it's just, it was fun. Yeah, kind of like what we've been saying. Like, this is just like a culmination of a simpler time when it came to childhoods. Which now that I'm thinking about it, it makes me wonder, like 20 years from now, when they make a game about the 2020s, like how would they depict childhood in a video game? Because this is like the 80s era. I would really be curious to see what would happen if they made a game based on like Gen
Mhm.
Alpha or any of the other generations' childhood. But we'll see. Who knows? This will be like an interesting video to go back to in the future. But yeah, that is my last thing. Let's move on to question 5. What are 3 things you did not like, and how would you improve it? Take it away, Noxo.
So the first thing is I would have loved to see more synergy between Demelza and Nessa's abilities. Because at
Yep.
the start of the game, it gives Nessa that frisbee, have my
Mm-hmm.
kick, combine those together for the targets. It seems like after that initial golf course in the story, it doesn't come into play as much. Sometimes it does, but I definitely feel for the first hour, it was at its strongest when we had our abilities at the start
Mm-hmm.
because we really had to use those in certain puzzles to hit targets. And it's just really unfortunate because I really like that team aspect, especially since it required us solving puzzles or defeating some enemies that were, of course, harder. And I guess like using a power glove later on, we also used a combination of things. Of course, we had the water balloons and my stomp for the enemies, or my kick with your water balloons to put out fire. But a lot of the time, we didn't really need that, especially since your
Yeah.
water balloons and your boombox is really, really strong, where you didn't need my help as much. I mean, there were times near the end, but besides that, didn't really have much reason to combine our abilities, and I would just love to see more of that because,
Like true
I mean,
synergy against enemies and
yeah,
stuff. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and when it's done right, it's pretty nice. But most of the time, it isn't that complicated later on when trying to figure out the puzzles. There's some parts here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but honestly, I feel like for the first couple of hours, the puzzles are a little bit more complicated. Trying to solve them. So that is it for me. What do you think about that though? Before you move on, do you agree? Did it need more synergy?
I'm
What would you do? I'm just
I'm with
curious.
you. I'm with you, dude. Like that, that was one of my points too. Was the whole,
Okay.
I wish there was more like co-op style abilities, because we've seen it done in games. And again, I'm going to keep referencing this, but It Takes Two did a tremendous job, because every facet of combat in that game it's designed with co-op at its core, like whether you're fighting something or solving a puzzle. And this game, like Noxo said, it did have elements of it, but it definitely feels like it needs to be like further developed. And you're right. We did it. We would do the trick like once in a tutorial, but that was pretty much it. Like there was no, like you said, there was no benefit of actually doing it in an actual combat scenario. Most of the time, if we just spam attacks, it's enough to get us through. So no, you nailed it right on the head. Like I agree with you on that one. For one thing, I wish they would improve is going to be a like very obvious one. The bike shop bug. We've encountered it enough times in different locations, but apparently, again, maybe it's just the Steam version of the game. But whenever you purchase items in rapid succession at Obi's bike shop, it would soft lock the store, and you cannot do anything. You actually have to reload your save. And it happened enough times where I have to bring it up. If it was once, okay, that's fine. But the fact that it is in the actual shop within the game itself, and the game is expecting you to always customize your bikes, I thought it was important enough to bring it up. How would I fix it? I don't know. Get rid of that extra colon in the line code of the game, and play test it a bit more, and throw out a 10 megabyte update to fix that bug. But yeah, that's my first thing. What about you, Nox? What's your second thing?
I'm going to add on to that with the bugs for my second thing, and that is I ran into a couple more. One was clipping in certain terrain.
Oh, I did not experience that one.
There's like a lot of clipping you can go through in certain objects in the background and stuff. But surprisingly, I mean, besides the whole Oba shop that Tubby mentioned, the biggest one for me was the bike not working on my end.
Oh, true. Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea if this is like an online thing, if it's just a player 2 thing, but there was a bug where I could not go on my bike or Tubby's bike. Either Tubby would have to like pick up the bike and then it would work, or we would have to transition into a loading screen and out of the loading screen in order for me to get my bike back. And that was, I mean, it's a big part since that's your mobility. And that was like, it happened the first time. I was like, okay. But then it happened like probably like 4 more times throughout the game. So again, like you said, with Oba's shop, definitely had to bring that one up.
Yeah, unfortunate. But hey, I mean, there's worse bugs and worse games.
It's just a few things to iron out. But overall, it wasn't, I mean, like you said, we played way worse.
Yeah. So how would you fix it though?
Well, for me, I would add a colon. I'm just joking. No, but seriousness, how I would fix this one is just play testing a little bit more. I know this was a Kickstarter game. I wonder how much play testing did they have, since most of the game is fine, but it seems like those bugs would be really easy to find, considering I ran into it constantly. And I'm starting to wonder, the whole loading thing, I wonder if this is a multiplayer specific bug, like online.
Honestly, it feels like it. Yeah, I think so.
Like with the shop loading or the bike. I have a feeling this one happened.
It feels just single player. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, just a little bit more play testing, a little bit more refinement, and a 10 kilobyte update.
Okay. My second thing, this is like a small thing, but the fact that we're on the bikes quite a bit in the game, I think it would have been awesome to add. I really wish you could do tricks on the bike. Like at a minimum, a wheelie, or even be able to jump with the bike. It's like, we're kids in the game. We're reckless. We want to go on an adventure. Like, give us the ability to do some like very basic tricks. Maybe like tricks that you could learn from Oba. Why not? Because like he was a cyclist, right? Like a pro cyclist. So, that would also give us more opportunities to spend all the random crap we'd find on the ground and give it to Oba. And I think that would be just something fun to do. And it's not even like a big deal either. It's just when you're with your friend, biking around and just messing around. It's just like, it'd be cool because you've already gone this far to push that sense of childlike wonder and excitement. Like, it'd be awesome if you could just do some tricks on the bike, or even funnier, if you failed the trick, you just fall off your bike and then your friend can take your bike. I don't know. It'd be amazing. Yeah, exactly. Why can't we do 360 backflip tailspins? That's exactly what we need in this game. How would I fix that? Just add it. That'd be pretty sick.
Just add it.
Just add that stuff. What about you, Nux? So what's your last thing?
Funny enough, it looks like we had a lot of things in common for this episode, and that is my last one. I have it as give us some tricks, wheelies, 360s, maybe even have personally our characters have different tricks. Like, since you have Nessa, she's confident, so she'll just be like laying back. Like, if you get enough speed, she'll just be laying back, just chilling as the bike goes. Yeah, for me, I'm crazy, so I should have even faster movement speed just by normally pedaling. So I can just go quicker. Or you could have 720s. You can have bunny hops. You have a lot of things that you can do: backflips, bike flips, front flips, and like you said, it would be funny if you messed up
or
you just crashed.
What if you could also combine your bikes?
That'd
also be cool. Like, I just ram into the back of your bike and then it just like combines with yours, and then I could be a lazy bum and then let you pedal me everywhere.
And then make it funny if one person is pedaling is much slower.
Exactly.
And then have the other person on the other one have like different animations.
Like they're struggling.
Yeah. Or you could just have like maybe different voice lines. You could say like, "What's taking so long?" or like, "You got this. You can do it." Or like, "I'll be right back." Just like as a nod that you're just going to use it back for or something. Just a lot of fun stuff you could do.
Yeah, it's just like they're like really small things, but man, it would add to the experience like so much more too.
And dude, I know they can do it with all the other work that they put in. That's like something that would be great to see.
100%.
Obviously, how would I fix it? Add it. That's it.
Just add it. Yeah, I mean, these are like things that at this point we were just asking, like, it'd be just nice to have, not even like things that are messed up with the game. My final thing, this is like a personal thing. Like, sometimes at least for my character, it felt like the hit detection and feedback could be a bit better. Like, sometimes it feels like attacks that should have landed or worked, like, wouldn't properly hit. Maybe it's a skill issue on my part. It's possible, but I just would have liked to have that like extra feedback, that extra oomph when you hit something. When I kick I don't know. I guess that also kind of relates to the whole co-op abilities too. Like, remember how many times we had to for me to properly throw the frisbee for you to kick it? Like, those kind of abilities should just feel natural in terms of the progression of it. But it's like we really had to think and aim it. And I remember I was throwing it and it looked like you were trying to hit it, but it just wasn't connecting properly. So I don't know, maybe adjust the hitboxes on that so it's a lot easier to land. But yeah, the combat needs a little bit more refinement, a little fine tuning. And I think it'd be, what they have there is great. I just feel like they another layer of polish would be nice to have. But yeah, that is my last thing. Let's go on to question 6. Exactly, meet. Just add it. Nike, just add it. Question 6. What is your final verdict and final rating from 0 to 10 using a 0.5 scale? Take it away, Noxo.
So for me, I thoroughly enjoyed this game, playing it with you. I feel like that's the best way to play Knights and Bikes. I have no idea how you would play single player, like how that would work. Is this AI, or is it strictly co-op? I can't tell.
I think you just swap between the two. Yeah.
Oh man. No, for this specific game, I honestly feel that you're missing out if you just play this in single player instead of having a friend, a spouse, or someone just to play this game with. Because there's a lot of synergy, despite having issues with that. It's just something that especially if you grew up in the 80s or 90s or even early 2000s, I think you can relate to a lot of stuff within the story. I had a lot of fun just messing around, seeing the different animations. Music is actually pretty good. Us voice acting really elevated the whole situation with my score. And just, one of the best geese in gaming,
Mm-hmm.
Honkers.
Top 3 geese in
Specifically,
gaming.
Captain Honkers.
Mm-hmm. He carried.
Yeah, you did. I just love the way that the game just brings you back, uses the type of childhood toys that a lot of people grew up with. The story was really heartwarming, heartfelt, has some twist in there, and really left a nice impression
Mm-hmm.
and open-ended ending, which is, in my opinion, this game did it well. When some games, it can be like, I kind of wish they explained more, but I think with this specific game and what they were going for with the whole imagination, I think it nailed it. Two friends going on an adventure. By the end, you learn a lesson, moving on, and I really commend the game for doing that. I was really conflicting of what scores to give it.
Okay.
Originally, I was going to give this game an 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I just give it an 8.5 as my final score is just because, honestly, a lot of the voice acting we did together, it was great, and just how crazy things got, and how unique this game is.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about this game. A lot of things I would like to see added, some synergy, like you said, the combat being more refined if they ever were to make a sequel of any sort.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to stick with an 8.5 for this one. It's a solid game. I had a great time, and it wasn't too expensive either. So
yeah, I think it was like $10. I just made up a number. Hopefully, I didn't just lie to everyone.
I can actually tell you.
Okay, what's the price? Mm-hmm.
Was $20 for around 11 and a half hours.
$20.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah. So for me, 8.5. What about you?
All right, for me, Knights and Bikes, like we've said it, and we'll say it, and we'll keep saying it. Like, it was such a treat to play, and honestly, like we said before, it's essentially taking your childhood, condensing itself into its purest video game form, and then just vomiting it out everywhere. Like, it's great. Screaming for a high five all the way across the screen just to know your friend, like peak gameplay right there. Stealing each other's bikes, just going on adventures, exploring the woods with nothing but your pure imagination. It's like a delightful game. I really enjoyed my time with this. I had just this dumb, stupid grin on my face the entire time that I was playing with Nakuso. And it just, again, like he said before, it harkens back to the olden days when things were much simpler back then. And I just thought it was just cool being able to see that through the lens of these two kids. Sure, we ran into a few bugs, we talked about some issues here and there, but nothing to really detract from this game. I still had a great time with it. Again, like Nakuso said, I'd highly recommend playing this with a friend, especially just take the opportunity to just voice act it and just try to read what they're saying in the game, and you are going to have a great time. And just don't take the game too seriously. And that is why I am giving this game 7.5 Demelsas out of 10. So it was a fun time. I enjoyed myself with this. And with that said, here's the final score breakdown. Nakuso gave it an 8.5. I gave it a 7.5. So calculating it all out, Knights and Bikes gets our final average rating of 80%, or 16 out of 20. So there you go. Knights and Bikes gets the VGBC seal of approval. But Nakuso, do you know what time it is now?
It is bonus mystery question time.
Bonus mystery question time. Take it away, Nakuso. What you got for us?
If you could create an original imaginary friend to help you on an adventure of your choosing, who would it be and how would they help?
All right, what you got?
So for me,
mm-hmm.
I was thinking of a lot of different things, but I like the story of this game. I like the vibe. So what if this game took place at the start of 2000? And my imaginary story would be about losing a sister on a trip that you're both excited to see a movie for.
Dang.
Fortunately, your sister, or in this case, my sister is hit by a car,
What?
passes away the day after.
Okay.
And yeah, this is getting straight into it.
Dang.
But this is going to play into like what I was just thinking of. So, when you're sleeping or when I'm sleeping, an adventure occurs, you see visions of my sister speaking to me, needing help. It's like through this part, you're like wondering if these dreams are real. You're going through grief at this point. And as with death, as a lot of people experience, I thought that having the 7 stages of grief would be a really fun addition. So first you have shock and denial, pain and guilt. You have anger, you have depression, and then you have the upward turn. What if the 7 stages of grief was bosses? You had to defeat each one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You're cooking. So keep going.
I had this character that you meet that moves into the neighborhood. This time it's similar to Nessa, but this person actually moves in next door. And while you're outside, as your parents kind of wanted you to go outside as you've been staying in, you meet a character called Petra, which not only describes like an ancient city known for its rock formations in Jordan. I thought this would be a great idea to have this character kind of have rock powers to help you out on your adventure. So this adventure would cause you to go to the afterlife, where you have to.
Okay.
Or in this term, your sister is stuck in purgatory, and you had to go through all 7 stages of grief in order to actually free her from purgatory. Not only will this free her, but it will also kind of free you from all the pain, kind of the guilt, the blame you put on yourself because you're the one who wanted to see that movie. So this is like you fighting your inner demons, literally, because that is what we're going to be fighting throughout the whole game.
Jeez.
With me and my friend, we had the power of strength, the power of earth. And I thought that was also a good, kind of like a symbol of an immovable wall as you play. So you start out really fragile, like a pebble. And by the end of the game, you're like a giant, you're like a golem. First you're like Geodude, and then you go to Graveler, and by the end you're Golem. Dang,
you got evolution in this too.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about like this whole series, at the start with the whole guilt, the whole 7 stages of grief. If you add one more mechanic on our adventure, and that's the angel and devil route that both have various forms of gameplay. The angel route is easier at the start and gets harder towards the end, while the devil route is the opposite in difficulty. And depending on your actions, changes what happens in the story, changes the environment, the background, your inner thoughts as you talk to yourself, as you talk to Petra. And, by the end, you kind of have 2 options. One, this is given to your thoughts, and pretty much kind of blame yourself. And that's kind of like the end. Or, you could go to the other one where you overcome an unbearable loss, and it's a much more heartfelt one. And I would think like if it had 2 different endings, if you do decide to complete both, then you can do like a true ending where you kind of experience both the angel and the devil route, leading to like a final boss. And if you do that, by the end of the game, you actually get to free your sister completely. And
no strings attached. Bringing her back.
No strings attached.
Bring her back.
Oh no! Sorry, you free her for purgatory.
Oh dang.
Yeah, because by the end, you kind of have to accept.
No.
Okay.
Just be like, no, I don't want.
Jeez. Oh man. Oh yeah, that was my story.
Wow. That's way more in depth than mine. Mine is just like mine's terrible.
I had a good shower thoughts.
Oh, those are that explains. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Dang, I don't have an adventure. I think I bypassed that. I just got the imaginary friend part. So, completely original character. So my character, very original. His name would be Ben Smaller. It would be a small bear cub with an incredibly large backpack. Kind of like in Moonlighter. What? Ben Smaller. Wait a second. What's wrong? Uh-oh. Where'd Noxo go?
I feel like I heard that character before.
No, this is original. Ben Smaller. So, really small bear cub. Just visualize it. A really large backpack. And then in this really large backpack are a bunch of heavy weapons. Claymore, axe, all of the just really large, heavy weapons. And how would he help? He would just allow me to. I'm just gonna insert myself into your adventure. We're gonna help Nakuso's adventure, and then we're gonna form a party, and he will help us vanquish these they're not called sins. The stages of grief. These villains. Mm-hmm. And then this little bear cub is going to help us. And he's going to be like our pack mule. He's going to give us weapons that we can swap. So we never have to leave the quest. He's just going to give us all of our weapons that we need. And swap mid-battle too. I think that'd be a fun game mechanic also. So we just have the ability. So our weapons will level up, actually. Be pretty sick. I'm not... Wait, never mind. I can't even make a Fire Emblem reference. Never mind. Because I just realized you haven't played it. But it'd be similar to that game. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. But yeah. I was about to go into an explanation, then I was like, wait a second. You never played Fire Emblem yet. That will be a game series we eventually hit up on book club. It's gonna happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Probably in the future. But no, for real though, I really like your idea. Your Thank whole you. Like that just sounds like that could be an actual game. Maybe it will be a game. Maybe someone listening to this is already developing it. You never know. But anyways, thank you for the question, Nox. So good, very, very good question.
Yeah, it was very fun. I had a lot of fun with that one, using my imagination.
My imagination. Yeah, this was a great book club episode, and unfortunately, like with anything, we have to come to the conclusion because this is the end. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Welcome everyone to episode. I'm joking. For real though, thank you all for tuning in. And again, if you'd like to join the Video Game Book Club Discord and play and discuss video games alongside us in the community, the link will be in the description box below. With that said, take care, have a good one, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Video Game Book Club. Say goodbye, Noxo.
See ya, everyone.